Welcome, welcome.
Good morning, Chodesh Tov.
Good morning, Chodesh Tov. Yeah. Another minute.
Good morning.
Morning, Ivan.
And Boker Tov as well. How are you doing, Helga?
Baruch Hashem.
You always look so ready.
Thank you. Ready to learn.
Yes. We have an interesting subject today.
Oh,
It always is.
Mysticism.
yeah.
Yeah,
Always try to keep it interesting.
that's a good thing. Thank you, Rabbi.
Boker Tov.
Boker Tov, Sonia. Rabbi, thank you again for this amazing gala.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Baruch
That
Hashem.
was just
Yeah.
so wonderful.
Oh, Hashem, no. It's a big history.
Sure is.
Mhm.
I found a little souvenir from our 18th
Oh, yeah.
gala.
Very nice.
I keep this.
Yeah. Give me a second here.
Rabbi, I just came back from Mumbai, went to attend a wedding in the family. It was amazing how they did it. And the
Wow.
Chabad is so nice over there. The Chabad is really powerful.
Wow.
And you have the local Indian Jews, and the food is amazing. Everything was so nice. It was
Very
so
nice. Very nice.
so nice.
Nice to hear that.
Yeah, and they know you. They know you and Rebetz and Goldie.
Oh, wow. Beautiful.
Yeah, it was
Beautiful.
really nice.
India.
Yeah, we saw the whole massacre that happened there. It's all kept there.
Yeah. Terrible story, huh?
Yeah, it's a terrible thing. Yeah, but they've taken precautions now, and the locals help them and everything. Like, it's a good place to be.
Hey, we ready?
Okay.
So here we go. We're all ready.
Yeah.
Ready to start a new section of our course. And we've been teaching Kabbalah already for like 2 years or something, but this is a new segment. And this is the Kabbalah class about Kabbalah, about Jewish mysticism. And it's about the Jewish people. Some of the best kept secrets are sometimes right with us. There's the famous story of a fellow that very, very poor, and he's praying to God that God should help him out. And he was told in a dream that there's a great treasure that's buried in the big city of Vienna. And he lived in Krakow, So all the way from Poland to Vienna, it's in Austria, whatever it is, right? So you have to go over there. And he had a vision in his dream. This beautiful treasure was buried somewhere under a bridge in Vienna. So he goes and he prepares his horse and buggy and makes a whole journey. And he finally makes it to Vienna, and in his dream, he knows exactly which bridge it is, by the Danube River, whatever, underneath the bridge. He goes there, and it's right beside the palace of the king. So he starts to dig beside the palace of the king, under the bridge, and he's digging and digging. And a policeman comes in the middle of the night. He sees this crazy old Jewish man. He's digging. He says, "What are you doing here? Like, I could arrest you." He says, "Crazy, you're digging right behind the palace of the king." He says, "What do you mean?" He says, I had a dream. He tells the policeman, "I'm sorry, I had this dream. I was praying to God that I should get some wealth. And I was very, very poor. And God answered my prayer. He told me in the dream that there was a treasure buried under the bridge near the palace. And I'm digging." The policeman says, "You believe in dreams?" He says, "Yeah, I believe in dreams." He says, "If I would believe in dreams," the policeman says, "I would go to Krakow, where there is a Jew named Isaac, the son of Yekel, that's there. And it says, it's in my dream, I saw that there's a Jew in Krakow, Isaac, the son of Yekel, and in his backyard, not in his backyard, under his oven is buried a treasure." So the Jewish man was like, "What? You serious?" He says, "Yeah, that's what if I would believe, I don't believe in dreams." So anyways, this fellow's name, this Jewish guy, his name was Isaac, the son of Yekel. So you heard the guy say that there's a treasure buried under his oven in his house. So he quickly leaves. He says, I'm sorry, sir, for bothering you, and I'm never again going to dig in Vienna." And he went back to Krakow, and he came to his house, and he dug under his kitchen, under the oven, and he found this beautiful treasure. And all his problems were solved, and he's dancing, he was celebrating. And then he went to his rabbi, he went to his Rebbe. It was a famous Rebbe that he went to. The Rebbe was Rabbinim. He went to Rabbinim of Pshishka. That was the name of the Rebbe in those days. And he went to him and he says, "Rebbe," he says, "God wanted to tell me that I have a treasure. Why do you have to send me all the way to Vienna and then to hear from the policeman there that there's a treasure buried in my own backyard, underneath my own oven? Why couldn't God just come in a dream and tell me directly? There, go to Isaac, the son of Yekel, go and dig underneath underneath your oven." So the Rebbe says, you have to understand. If the dream would tell you have a treasure buried in your own backyard, you'd never believe it. You have to first go out of your city and go somewhere else. And then someone tells you there's a treasure, then you believe it. All right. Another version of the story is that the Rebbe said, no, the way to find your own treasure is first, sometimes you have to go through other paths. And then, only then can you find your own treasure. Either way, it's quite appropriate to say that Jews, many times, we think that the secrets of mysticism, the secrets of all these secret understandings of life, we think it's somewhere, boom, it's somewhere in India. You mentioned India. Some Jews go to India, go to China, some go to the Dalai Lamas, they go all over the world to find the secret of life. What's the secret of life? And they think that all the treasures are buried somewhere else. So sometimes Hashem says, okay, I'll send you there, but then you're going to come back home, right? You're going to go there first, but then you come back home and you find that we have the greatest treasures buried in our own Judaism. All the mystical secrets are all here. Right? So we don't need to really go there, but that's the way it is. People like to go, they think they're going to find the gurus and they're going to find the, famous story. There's a big line for the guru, up a long line, and thousands and thousands of people. And this old Jewish lady comes to the guy in the front of the line and says, "I want to speak to the guru right now." He says, "Lady, there's a long line behind you, thousands of people. You have to wait your turn." She said, "I just want to tell him 3 words, and I'm out. I'm an old lady. Please let me go in and say 3 words." So she goes into the room, and the lets her in. She goes in. You can't deny her. Old Jewish bubby, can't deny her. She comes inside. And he says, "Okay, now only 3 words you could have to say to the guru." She says, "Sheldon, come home." Those were 3 words. This was the Jewish guru. Anyways, but that's the story. Sheldon, come home, because the Jews are always going to looking far away. Sheldon has to come home. He has to come home to find his treasure in his own backyard. Yeah. Many famous stories of Jews trying to find the truth on the other side of the world. You know, what's life? What's the secrets of life, which many people think you find in the mysticism, mystical places and magical places. You find the secrets of life. So many people, they want to go to the other side of the world, but the truth of the matter is, we have it buried right in our own backyard. We have the secrets of life, the secrets of mysticism. It's all in the Kabbalah and Hasidus. We have it all right here. We have the treasure buried in Yekel, in the Ezel, the son of Yekel. By the way, a PS to that story, that Ezel, the son of Yekel, he built a shul for that money. And you can go today, this is a true story, you can go today to Krakow and you see there's a famous shul. It's called the Isaac Shul. It's one of the biggest, beautiful shuls in Krakow. It's called the Isaac Shul, and this is how that shul was built, based on this story that I just told you. He found this treasure in his own house, and with that money, he built the most beautiful shul. I have actually a picture of that shul. We were there. We went to visit in 2018. We went to visit 2017, 2018. We went with a trip for the shul, and we went to that shul. I have it actually here. This is, believe it or not, in that shul, in that story that I just told you about Isaac, the son of Yekel. So he built the shul. It's called the Isaac Shul in Krakow. And this is a picture of me in that shul having an aliyah to the Torah. Yeah, I'll show it to you. See that? See the Torah there? See, that's me. See that picture? Okay, now if you see over here, you'll see there's words behind the inscription on the wall. It's an old inscription on the wall in that shul. This is the Torah from here. See the Torah? I'm having an aliyah. That's me with the tefillin on my head. And somebody took that picture, snapshot, and then an artist, like this guy Arthur Tolkien's, he put some paint on it. So it looks really good. It looks really sharp. But this picture is from that shul, the Isaac Shul. So I know it's a real story. I know it's a real story. I was there. Anyways, so we give you the evidence of the story. But the main point of the story is that we have a treasure in our own backyard. We are very, very lucky that we have something in Judaism itself. It's called the Kabbalah. And why is it called Kabbalah? Where does the word Kabbalah? People ask, where does the word Kabbalah come from? What does the word Kabbalah mean? Kabbalah comes from the word lekabel, to receive. Kabbalah is something which was received. It's a wisdom, an ancient wisdom from God, which was received. And it's passed down from generation to generation. So anyone that studies Kabbalah, you can't ask them, what's the proof for this? You know, what's the proof? It's received. It's a tradition that's passed down from generation to generation, all the way back to Moses. Many people don't know that the main revelation of Kabbalah is actually goes all the way back to the original receiving of the Torah. So when the Jews received the Torah, Moses went up on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights and received the rest of the Torah to give to the Jewish people, and he taught to them in the wilderness. He taught all the Jews the entire 5 books of Moses, but the tradition is that he taught a select few group of people, which was passed down from generation to generation, and that is the wisdom of the Kabbalah. Kabbalah means received. As it says, Moshe kibel Torah miSinai. Moshe received the Torah at Sinai. Like he received the rest of the Torah, he also received this ancient, mystical roadmap of the world, Jewish mysticism, so to speak, which speak about the very basic building blocks of creation. And people who are mystics are able to actually rearrange things in this world based on that knowledge of knowing the building blocks of creation, the spiritual building blocks of creation. And that's Jewish mystics over the generations. But the point is that this mysticism was actually passed down from Moses at Sinai. Many times when the Talmud speaks of studying mysticism, he calls it paradise. Paradise comes from the word pardes, which is an orchard. Pardes is a code word also for Kabbalah, for the mystical aspects of the Torah. That's called paradise. The Hebrew word for paradise, most people think of it as some place in heaven. But in the Hebrew, a pardes is a garden. It's like an orchard of trees, beautiful trees, lush trees with beautiful fruits. That's called pardes. And the Chacham of Kabbalah is called pardes many times. It's called also paradise. Now, if you look at the etymological makeup of the word paradise, which is a place, paradise, a place where people sit and study after their soul passes away, it goes to paradise. That's a place where the secrets of life are revealed. So the etymological makeup of the word pardes, which is our garden, a orchard, is 4 letters. Pardes is made up of 4 letters: Pei, Resh, Dalet, Samach. Pei, Resh, Dalet, Samach. That's the way it's spelled. Pardes. Pardes. It's only 4 letters. In English, it's P-A-R-A-D-I-S-E. So you have 8 letters, but in Hebrew is only 4 letters, right? Because in Hebrew you don't have vowels. The vowels are memorized. The vowels are invisible. You have to you just get consonants, and you need to recognize the word and know what it is. So paradise, which is paradise, is 4 letters. Pei, Resh, Dalet, Samach. And our sages tell us that it's actually it alludes to the 4 areas of Torah scholarship, 4 parts. So when Moses received the Torah, he received the Torah on 4 levels. Everything that was given to Moses was given on 4 levels, like the 4 letters. Pei, Resh, Dalet, Samach. The deepest being the Samach, the last letter. The simplest being the Pei. So there are 4 phases of 4 levels of all knowledge that was given in the Torah. The first one is Pei. What's Pei? Pei is Pshat. Pshat is the simple interpretation of anything which was given to Moses. So let's say Moses got a story, a story about Joseph and his brothers, right? So there's the Pshat of that story. Pshat is the simple translation of the story, which is, we say many times, Ein mikra yotzei midei pshuto. We never should try to understand the verse without understanding the simple interpretation. You always must understand it on a simple level as well. You can't just say, well, there's only a mystical meaning to this. No. There has to be a simple meaning. So the story of Joseph and his brothers, there is, let's say, the simple meaning of the story. Then there's Remez. That's Resh. Resh is Remez. Remez is hints. So the Torah doesn't just speak on a literal level, but it also speaks on a hinting level, like allegorically, right? Explanation. So you could say that this is a hint for something else. It's not what you see there. It's a hint. Many times you have in Hebrew, you have a concept called gematria, which is numerical value of words. So we have a word, let's say we have Bereshit, the first word of the Torah. So there is the literal meaning in the beginning. But the word Bereshit also, every letter, the base is letter number 2. Reish is 200. Every letter has a numerical value, and we do things called gematria. Now, gematria and hints is already a deeper level. First, you have to understand the simple meaning. Then you get to the hints, and the Torah is like trying to hint maybe different things. So we look for different hints. Today, they have a whole science of trying to understand the numerological the letters of the Torah. They look for codes in the Torah. They found all kinds of different codes, because today you can put the Torah in a computer and you can find out every 15th letter, every 20th letter, every 30th letter, right? So they have the codes of the Torah, it's called, which are hints. Yeah, they have codes which hint to World War II and to the creation of Israel and all kinds of things that you find, the assassination of Rabbi, all kinds of things they found inside the Torah, different hints, right? Look at little allusions that the Torah gives. For instance, there are hints that we don't even know till hundreds of thousands of years later. We know what the hints of the Torah meant. I'll give you just one little example. We just came from Purim. So in the Megillah of Purim, the Megillah is written columns like a Torah scroll. It has columns of Hebrew words that comprise all of the story of the Purim. Now there's a real strange page, one page, where it has only like 20 words. And that page has, in big letters, all the names of the sons of Haman. Haman, we know, was executed by Achashverosh. He got just like he loved him, he got angry at him, and then he killed him, right? And not only did he kill him, but he also killed the 10 sons of Haman. Besaseres b'nei Haman, 10 sons of Haman. And it has over there all the the 10 sons of Haman. Right? Those are it mentions all their names. But if you look at it in the Hebrew, it's like a full page, big letters. The custom is that everybody's in the shul says it out loud, that piece. Nobody understands really what's the significance of 10 sons of Haman. Like, who cares really? He had 10 sons. Main thing was the villain we got rid of the villain. They never show up before. Mentions all the names. But you look carefully, you see there are 3 Hebrew letters that are small. A whole page, big letters, and there are 3 letters that are small. And that nobody ever understood why those letters had to be written small. There's a Taf in one name, there's a Shin in another name, and there's a Zayin, Taf Shin Zayin. Nobody knew what's going on. Why these 3 letters have some kind of hint, right? It's like an allusion for something. It's hinting for something in the future, maybe. People were looking to find what's the code here, what's the secret here. And then it suddenly was revealed what it was. We all know that World War II and the Nazis, many people say that Haman was the great-grandfather of Haman, who came from the Amalekite. He was the great-grandfather of the Germans and of the Nazis, and of Hitler. It's a known fact. And so when it came to after the World War II, the world wanted some justice. Some justice had to be brought against the Nazis for killing 6 million Jews and killing so many other people. They wanted some justice. So there was a famous trial. It was called the Nuremberg trial. The Nuremberg trial. And they had a judgment for the Nazis. And there were exactly 11 Nazis that were found guilty at the time, and they were sentenced to death, to be executed on which day? On the day of Purim. Crazy story, right? They're going to be executed on the day of Purim. But so my story is not perfect, because it was actually 11 Nazis that were going to be killed. The night before the execution, one of the Nazis committed suicide. He took a pill, a cyanide pill, and he committed suicide. I don't remember his name offhand, but it's a famous thing. He killed himself before the execution the next day. So now you have 10 Nazis being hung, being executed on the day of Purim. And when they came out, were about to be hung, Julius Streicher announced, he says, Purim Fest 1947. That's what he announced. Before he went out, he gave a shout. He said, Purim Fest. He understood there were 10 guys being hung on that day. Festival of Purim 1947. So you see over here the parallel with the story of Purim and the 10 sons of Haman who were executed. But more than that, he announced Purim Fest 1947. The Hebrew date, the calendar which everybody goes according to on the Jewish calendar, is you know which day in the Hebrew calendar it is? It's Tav Shin Zayin. 5707, which the Hebrew date, when you say it, Allah, you say Tav Shin Zayin. That's how everyone calls it. Like today is Tav Shin Pei Gimel. Today is 5783. 1947 was Tav Shin Zayin, the three letters that was small for thousands of years before the story happened. This was encoded in the Megillas Esther. The date, the year, the same amount of people that were killed, all on the day of Purim. Incredible sort of, I'm saying codes, talk about codes of the Torah. This is one of the most fascinating ones. But that's the second level of Torah. It's Pirush. Pirush is the first, is a simple interpretation. Then you have Remez. Remez are things which are encoded in the Torah, different hints, gematria, numerical values, and things like that. Then you have Drush, Pardes. Remember, Pardes. The Dalet Drush is the homiletical parts of Torah where you learn out one thing from another, right? You compare different things in the Torah. That's drush. It's like a rabbi goes up and he makes a drasha. A drasha, it's not always exactly what it says, but he comes up with interesting explanations. That's drush. That's the third level of Torah. And then so paradise, pirush, pei, reish, remez. Dalet, drush. And the final level of Torah is Sod. Sod is secrets of Torah, the mysticism. That's the fourth plane of Torah, the deepest level of Torah, which is secretive and passed down from generation to generation. There's only a select few rabbis that are passing this down from generation to generation until fairly recently, where Kabbalah started to make a comeback and people started teaching it to other people, and we'll get to that soon. Why was that allowed? But up until a few hundred years ago, this whole secrets of the Torah were kept, mystical parts of the Torah were kept secretive, and you weren't allowed to learn it in public. You had to be just a few people together. The Talmud even says that there's certain sections of the Torah, like Ma'aseh Bereishis and Merkava, Ma'aseh Merkava, the vision of the chariots of Ezekiel, and also the story of the creation of the world. Those are like deepest parts of the Torah, not supposed to be studied in public, because there were many mystical parts of it that were known only by a select group of people that were passed down from generation to generation. So you have the paradise, 4 levels of Torah. And the mystics used to say, because they were saying that if someone doesn't study Sod, doesn't study the Kabbalah, so the mystics used to say, the Kabbalists, they used to say, if you take away the Samach from paradise, all you're left with is Pered. Pered is like a Ferd. Pered is actually in Hebrew, a Pered is a mule. So they used to make a joke, I don't know if it was a joke or what, they used to say, if you study paradise, if you study the Torah, just the first 3 sections, that means the literal, the hints and the drush, but without the sod, all you have is pered. When you take that off the paradise, you take the samach off, the sod, without the sod, it's pered. Now, you think that they're making fun of other Jews that are not studying Kabbalah, but it wasn't just a mockery. It wasn't just they were laughing at the people. The people that don't study Samach, the Sod, the paradise, all the left is with Pered, a mule, they're mules. It wasn't that they were trying to make fun of those people, which that seems like to be the case. No, what they meant to say is, I heard once in the Rebbe, I believe in the Rebbe, that what's a mule? A mule is a combo of a horse and a donkey. That's a mule. It's a breeding. And they did that in the olden days because they wanted to have the strength of the horse and the tenacity of the donkey, and you got yourself a mule who's a real workhorse. You got that the farmers came up with this idea to create a thing called a mule, and they brought together a donkey with the horse. They got themselves a mule. The thing about a mule is a mule can't have children. A mule is sterile. So this is what they were really saying. They were saying, maybe you get great strength in studying just the simple parts of the Torah. But if you don't study the mystical parts of the Torah, your Torah study is in some form sterile. It doesn't give forth children. It doesn't give forth a future. It's not, Judaism will not be able to be passed down in a fun, loving way, and deep way, if you're not going to also have some of the samach, which is the Kabbalistic and the mystical parts of the Torah. So that's why they say pered. And remember, so paradise, when we use the code word paradise, we're referring to all the 4 levels of Torah, including the deepest part of the Torah, the mystical parts of the Torah, which up until a certain point in time, it was shunned upon studying actually the Samach, the Kabbalah. It was only given from special tzaddikim, special righteous people from every generation. They would pass on this mysticism, from the secrets of Jewish mysticism from generation to generation. Until recently, which we will talk about a little bit at a later point. But first I want to tell you about this story in the Gemara in Chagiga. In the tractate of Chagiga, there's a very interesting story, maybe page 14, 15, somewhere around there, in the tractate of Chagiga. It's a story about 4 rabbis, 4 of the greatest rabbis. One of them we all know, Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva was studying with 3 of his contemporaries. They were studying together. There was another rabbi, his name was Elisha ben Avuya. Elisha ben Avuya was the teacher of Rabbi Meir, and he became later on a heretic. We all know that. But he was one of the greatest rabbis who ever lived. And he became a heretic. So this is a strange story. So Elisha, the son of Avuya, he sort of went off the tracks. And then there was Ben Azai and Ben Zoma. So 4 rabbis, Akiva, Elisha, Ben Azai, and Ben Zoma. I don't know what their name was. It's Ben Azai. You always refer to them by their father, the son of Azai and the son of Zoma. Both of them actually, their name was Shimon. Maybe because they studied together, so they didn't want to mix up the Shimons. Both first name was Shimon, but there were 2 Shimons at the same time. So one was called son of Azai and son of Zoma. Okay. Imagine someone calls you, hey, son of Azai, son of Zoma. That was their name. You find them also Ben Zoma. You find also in the Haggadah Shal Pesach. You find also Ben Zoma, I believe. Yeah, Ben Zoma says Ben Zoma says over there about how often you have to mention the Exodus from Egypt, right? So he's there. He makes it in the Haggadah Shal Pesach. Akiva also makes him the Hakadosh Pesach a few times. Rabbi Akiva, you find with the 4 scholars that were sitting in Bnei Brak, they were studying, same story. And later on, there's Rabbi Akiva also shows up in it speaks about how many plagues were there. So that each plague was made up of so much. And Rabbi Akiva has an opinion there. So I think twice maybe in the Akiva. But Akiva is a famous guy, Ben Zoyim is a famous guy, Ben Azai, and Elisha ben Avuya, there's lots of books written about him because he was the official heretic. You know what a heretic is? A heretic is a guy that just rejects everything and he gave it all up. And there's a story about how he became a heretic, but that's not for now. So they're all studying together. And it says, Arba, this is how the Talmud says. Talmud speaks also in mystical ways. The Talmud says, Arba nichnusu lepardes. 4 people entered into paradise. Now we know now from what I taught you, the paradise means what's paradise? Does it mean they actually went up to the heaven? Paradise? So some say, no, they were studying mysticism. Paradise, remember the S of Torah, 4 levels of Torah. They went to the deepest levels of Torah. So they reached like another dimension. So 4 of them went into paradise. Paradise, either paradise, like I say, paradise means heaven, or paradise means that they were studying this great mysticism. It makes sense it was mysticism, because that's the section of the Gemara that speaks about mysticism. And who can study it? So it says these 4 rabbis all together, they were together and they entered paradise. They come into paradise, it says, and they see some kind of vision that they shouldn't have seen. Something which they're not supposed to see. Some great light they saw, boom, right? So it says that each one, it says over there, looked at this, and they had a different reaction. It means it impacted them in such a deep way because they saw something they were not supposed to see. Right? We could talk about what that thing is that they saw, but they all saw something there. Right? So it says, Ben Zoyma went crazy. He cracked up. He just lost it. Ben Azai passed out. Passed away. That's the simple meaning of it, right? Couldn't take it. It was such a powerful vision. He expired. Elisha, the son of Avuya, he became a heretic right there and then. Became a heretic. He rejected everything. That was sort of exploded in him. Something happened, something clicked, and boom, he became a heretic. It says only Rabbi Akiva, it says, Nichnas b'shalom, he entered in peace, v'yotze b'shalom, he left in peace. So most of the other was hitzitz v'nifke. They looked at it and they were impacted in a negative way. Only Rabbi Akiva was able to see what he saw, to assimilate it, to absorb it, and to come out in peace. So what was it? How was Rabbi Akiva different? What happened? Why was Rabbi Akiva able to survive this great mystical experience, so to speak, of entering paradise or seeing something? He was the only one who was able to survive. The other one went crazy, one expired, and one hereticked out. What was the secret of Rabbi Akiva? I'm going to keep you in suspense till next week. I'm not going to tell you the answer. Think about it. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Jewish mysticism and about the secrets of the Torah. So we'll see you, Mitzvah Shem, next week, same time. Anyone have questions on whatever we said so far? Because I didn't finish anything. But any questions?
Thank you.
Yeah. Freya, nice to see you, Freya. I can't see you, but
Thank you. Nice to be seen almost.
almost, yeah. Okay. So we welcome everybody that's here at the class. Mitzvah Shem next week. Next week is Wednesday. Yeah, next week, same time, same channel. We will continue Mitzvah Shem next week. So we wish everybody a guten Shabbos.
Shabbat Shalom. Chodesh Tov.
Chodesh Nisan is the month of miracles. We should all have lots and lots of miracles in our own lives.
Shabbat Shalom.
To be continued. Thank you.
Shalom.
Bye-bye.